Good evening to one and all. We're waiting for a few more people to join us. We'll be starting in just 2 to 3 minutes. Just hang in there. We started getting high and desperate measures, desperate questions. So please hang in there. We'll be just beginning in some time. A warm welcome to each and everyone attending this webinar. And I'm so pleased to see that there are so many of you investing your Sunday evening with us. It shows the great interest people have with an institution of eminence of this country called as Bits Pilani. Bits Pilani as an institution which has created so much of its worth around the world and not just in India that it can be easily be called as a pride of this nation. No doubt about it, it was competing against the IITs, which in themselves are pioneers in the field of academics. But an institution which started with a small, Pathshala in Pilani in Rajasthan has gained global relevance because of just one thing. It always put its students first, and then it gave these students the best of the facilities with the best of the faculties. Together, they created institutions after institutions, and that's how it was recognized as an institution of eminence. It was a technical institution, but it is its 60th year of operation, and that is where they thought that they should also venture into another field. And that's exactly how they started with School of Management, School of Law, and then came what we are here to discuss, the School of Design. But be very clear, we are very specific that we will launch only those courses which are futuristic, which will be of use to the students in the upcoming generations. It's not just about employment placement, it's also about creating a personality in them that they go ahead and also create a name of themselves, be they in employment or be they become, entrepreneurs. So that's exactly what our idea was behind creating Bits Design. And we formally launched ourselves on the 24th. And this is one of those very important sessions which we do for every school. And it is an introduction by the head of the institution of design school, the dean, who comes online and speaks to the scores of aspirants who are showing their interest in our institution. This is something which we have done for every school, and I'm not surprised that there are so many people attending this session. The count has already gone across 350, and I'm not surprised because that's exactly what the expectations are from people, because they all want to know what new is Bits Pilani doing. And that's exactly why most of our sessions are not marketing. Most of our sessions are about knowledge sharing, about telling people about what are we doing, what new things are we introducing. And this session specifically, where the dean introduces the law school, the design school to to the general public at large, what we are going to do is she's going to speak specifically about design school, its curriculum, how what we are conceiving for the next 15 years, 30 years, what is our vision, and what kind of students are we expecting. Right from A to Z, we'll be talking about everything in this webinar. Okay, so let me first introduce you to her, because an introduction is something which she deserves, because she has achieved so much in her life, and we are lucky to have her with us. Her name is Nandita Abraham, Dean of Bits Design School. Nandita brings in a vast experience from the creative industries and academia to the Bits Design School. She's an agile, entrepreneur, dependable leader who keeps students at the center of everything she does. With global work experience in the US, Hong Kong, and India, she manages strategic priorities with innovative execution oriented, positive attitude. Nandita's deep influence with people and ability to collaborate and drive outcomes drives strong results, synergistic partnerships, and transformational growth. Nandita is on the FICCI National Higher Education Committee and has previously been executive at IFFTI, which is International Foundation of Fashion Technology Institutes, and the CII National Design Committee. She has lectured at Northumbria University, University of Delaware, and the London College of Fashion, and presented papers in Seoul, Taiwan, Australia, India, Europe, and the UK. Apart from education, Nandita has a deep interest in uh, empowerment of people through self-confidence and employability. At her previous role as a CEO and the president of Pearl Academy, Nandita led the Tihar Jail fashion project, which has now trained more than 300 inmates towards a sustainable livelihood. The Daskar Ranthambore project, which rehabilitated people from 3 displaced villages and Seva learning centers, amongst other initiatives. She is a mentor for various organizations working with people and has been a champion of people development in her previous role. No doubt that we chose her as our leader at the Bits Design School, because this is exactly the kind of leaders which Bits Pilani chooses, and they are the ones who transform lives and create better leaders. So yeah, I give it to you, Nandita.
Thank you, Deepu. Thank you everyone who's coming here. I think it's a really important day for all of us, and I hope it's an important day for you too. I'm going to try and spend some time talking about the curriculum and the details about the program that we're offering at the Bits Design School. So sit back. I can see many questions about admissions, etc. You'll get all those answers. They'll all be answered. But first, let's take a little bit of a deep dive into what this imagination is that we've all come together to create a design school for tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to use a PowerPoint. Some of you have been for a webinar that we did earlier, so you may find some repetitions, but everything about the curriculum we've now put in, and happy to discuss that with you. Because at the end of the day, the curriculum builds the environment so that we can empower students to be the best designers that they are. So I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, Deepa, can you see my screen?
Yes, yes, perfect. Please go ahead.
All right, I can see all of us also so if you want to, you can just press on that and make it speaker view so that you have your screen as empty as possible. So here, parents and students, is our Kamba campus. We had an inauguration of the Kamba campus on the 24th of last month. Kamba or Kalyan is about an hour or an hour and a half away, depending on traffic, from Mumbai. It's a real photograph, and the School of Management students moved there in the beginning of February, and they're having an amazing time. School of Law is going to move in June, and School of Design will move in June next year. We will spend 1 year at the Powai campus, which has been already in existence for 3 years, containing these schools. Okay. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Bits Pilani. Some of you don't need an introduction to that, but I think it's really important because that's where we come from. Then talk about like, how did the BITS Design School come together? Who were the people who really put in their energies to make this work and continue to be promoters and supporters to ensure that we're doing the right thing? A little bit about the school, about the faculty, and I think then really important about how we're looking at design and design studies. So program details, curriculum details, the 5 career pathways we're looking at for our Bachelor of Design honors, and then a little bit about admissions at the end of it all. Please put all your questions in the chat box. I think somebody will keep answering them as we go along. Okay, so Bits Pilani. 60 years, actually, we should have changed that. This is our 60th year, I think, starting in June. 60 years of excellence, of innovation, of entrepreneurship, more than 186,000 alumni, more than 7,400 CEOs, founders, and everybody really passionate about Bits Pilani. I have never seen an organization like this where as soon as we announce that we're going to start the BITS Design School, we have alumni from everywhere coming in, calling, visiting, reaching out on LinkedIn. I can do this. I am the head of cred design. I am the head of design at Ola Electric. I lead the design team. So everybody wants to participate, and everybody realizes that really design is something that's going to bring together Bits Pilani and allow it to come into the world in a new and very special way. So Bits Pilani was set up, not Bits Pilani, but in 1901, there was a Pathshala that was set up in Pilani, and we hear our Chancellor talk about it often. He says that during the independence movement, his grandfather and Mahatma Gandhi ji spent a lot of time, and Gandhi ji used to say that let's discuss what are the industries that India needs for tomorrow. And so together they charted a path of what are the industries that are required, and Bits Pilani then came up in order to service those industries and bring technology into the future. Today we have technology, we have management, we have law, and as our Chancellor, Mr. Birla says, nothing is complete without design. In 2000, Bits Pilani set up the first campus in Dubai. Then there was Goa, Hyderabad. And I have to tell you that all the campuses are dying to be a part of the BITS Design School in terms of collaborations. Every time there's an opportunity, there's a phone call. Can we do some projects together, etc. So, but I'm waiting to have some interesting students on campus so that we can really start doing that. In 2020, BITS was recognized as an institute of eminence, and then the schools in BITS Mumbai, BITS School of Management, BITS School of Law, and BITS School or BITS Design School. Um, Here are some ventures founded by Bitsians. I think entrepreneurship is something really important to us. When we had the inauguration of the campus on the 24th by our finance minister, Nirmala Sitharaman, we also had in our incubation center, and maybe I'll show you, maybe there'll be a picture in our campus. The first floor of that center building is an incubation center. The ground floor are the design labs. And we invited alumni, people who are from BITS and outside BITS, who are being funded and supported in terms of entrepreneurship and incubation by Bits Pilani. So it was really amazing to see all the different entrepreneurs and the startups who were there. And of course, I kept thinking that design could actually add a little bit more to this as well. So some of these names you know, some of these names the parents know. But it's a really exciting group of ventures started by our alumni. So here's the group of people, I think, a group of people who have discussed again and again, over and over, that what is the design school requirements, or why should we start another design school? There are so many design schools. I think our chancellor was very clear that we cannot open another design school which is the same as the design schools that existed. So a lot of conversations about post-material designs, that some designers work with materials, some designers work without materials, but using the design process to solve problems and solve big problems that there are in the world. There was conversation about why design cannot be in silos. It doesn't make sense to have separate courses. Why designers have to work with each other, and also designers have to work with engineers, designers have to work with AI, people who are experts in AI, designers have to work with management, and the law school has come up with many reasons why designers have to work with law as well. So that's our chancellor, Mr. Birla, vice chancellor, Professor Rao, an amazing person, Dilip Gaur, who is on the board of governors of Bits Pilani. And if you look at the bottom row, I cannot think of a better group of people. Please take a screenshot, look them up. And I cannot think of a more generous set of people who have been offering and participating again and again, and arguing, negotiating, and also all of them have said they want to do something with the students. So they're coming down as a group on the 20th and 21st of September. And we're going to try and work out some things with students before and after that. I think everybody's excited about the first batch of students and the potential that there is with that. Oh, and here are some of our faculty. This is just a start. I have 4 or 5 very exciting other names who will join in May at the end of the semester. But I think what we've tried, what I've tried, or what we've tried to do is not to take faculty, even if they're very big PhDs who've only done one thing. Because we want to create designers who are agile, who can work across industries, who can change as the world changes. And I think that that has been one of the things that we've looked at when we looked at faculty, that can these faculty be people who will change and help our students be designers of tomorrow? Really happy with the team. You just watch the website, you will see some other exciting people coming up. And we've tied up with the D School at Stanford University, and they're all going to go, I hope we're all going to go to Stanford for a week to norm and form a team to look at how D School does their teaching, immerse ourselves into what happens there, engage with those teachers, create faculty mentors for our faculty, so that this will be a team, even though they've come from different universities in India and abroad, but this will be a team that will come together to create the magic, which is the vision of our chancellor. What we decided very clearly is that at the BITS Design School, we're going to be intensely student-centric. We're not going to stop until we're able to satisfy or feel satisfied that we've given our students the best that we can do. And if there are students with other interests, we have access to so many industries, so many people to bring in those inputs so that each student is able to develop his path and become the person or the best version that he could be. We're saying we're technology first. I think that is obvious. We come from technology, we're digital first, and we're trying to work on different ways. You may see some of them that we work with the parent university, Bits Pilani, to put that right up on top. We're deeply integrated with the industry. I think that is very clear. We've had the industry relations team, the placements team at Bits Pilani work with us and decide and strategies as to how we can use those employers and work with those employers to identify what kind of designers they want and how we can then service them in the future. I think it's really important to work with the industry from the beginning, not and be a partner, not just to go after 4 years and say, please take my students, they're ready for placement. So that is not the plan that we have there. We're also, as the Aditya Birla Group and students, I think parents will know about it, but students, look it up, the number of different kinds of industries that exist, all coming together and wanting to support us. The next one is global in approach. I think that's very important. You all know that's very important. One needs to be a global designer. One can work with customers in Sweden. One can work in Sweden. One must be as good as everyone everywhere else in the world. And we have our partnerships and some of our experiences to make that happen. And the last, which I think is maybe very important or most important, is that we don't want designers who will just work in silos. We want designers who can understand human behavior, who can understand strategy, who can understand AI, who can understand computational coding, not because they have to be a business person or not because they have to be an AI expert, but we need them to work as partners in organizations. It's been too long that all major decisions are made by management people and technology people. They decide everything, maybe even about the product, and then finally that goes to the designer and, okay, make this. We want the website to look like this, or we want the interface to be like this, or we want the product to be like this. We are going to create designers who will be exposed to strategy, engineering, AI early on, so that they can be part of the conversation when the product is being made or when the idea is being generated. Okay, so how are we doing that? And how are we designing our studies to ensure that this happens? The first thing that's here is that instead of looking at skills, how well our students will draw, how well the students can make a logo, how well they can cut, how well they can do a 3D printing, we've decided, and this has come from the advisory board in a very big way. If you look up John Takara, if you look up Don Norman, this is the way that all of them think. And of course, Biju has been a very big influence, that instead of looking at skills, let's look at competencies. So what is a competency? A competency is when you say, it's not like how well you can make a logo or draw a logo. It's that using that skill along with your abilities and judgment to decide, to make a decision as to how you can create a logo that will influence the growth of a company, or how you can make a product that's going to work in the future, and being able to judge that what kind of pricing you should have for that, what kind of product, where do you sell it from, where do you source it from, etc. So 5 groups of competencies we focused on, starting from vision and strategy, because we believe that all designers should understand vision and strategy, should not just be somebody who draws or does something for instructions. The second is everybody needs to understand human experience. How does a human behave? Why does a human behave? What are his needs? How do you understand unmet needs of somebody? The third is creative production. The fourth is of course, emerging technologies. And the fifth is communication through all media. We have taken these as the 5 areas of competency for designers. And we've added to that 4 areas that we think will help transform students' lives. And that's required for all kinds of designers. I'm going to quickly look at that. So you have the 5 areas of design expertise at the bottom. That's the purple lines. And then you have the transformation areas. We're saying that every student must understand about design culture and why design. Every student must understand about what are the big issues in the world today. What are the big things that are going to happen in the next 10 years? And how could that impact design, or how could designers impact that? We want every student to understand about the Indian design context and the Indian culture and how that influences design. And the fourth area is we want every student to take responsibility for their personal growth and their professional development. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do that, because it's all woven into the curriculum really well. So based on these areas of expertise, we have developed the goals or aims for every year. You don't have to look at it in detail, but just to get an idea, we're saying that each area of expertise will grow in terms of competency, in terms of complexity, and within scope through the years. So this is for, and our learning outcomes or subject aims come out of these. So these are the 5 design areas of competencies, and again, the 5 transformation areas of competencies. So this is what we put up on the table in front of us when breaking down further into the curriculum. Also, we've said transdisciplinarity is really important. So one is technology and management, and second is transdisciplinarity between the disciplines of design. The students of visual design to work with the students of product design, human-centered design to work with experience design, and multiple opportunities through projects for that to happen, so that our students are not just narrow one skill or one small area designers. The last one that we've said is people skills. We did a lot of research with the industry, and everything came back that there's no point knowing how to draw nicely or make great or have great ideas if you can't collaborate, if you can't work in a team, if you can't communicate well, if you can't influence other people with your ideas, if you can't take on leadership roles at different opportunities. So there's a great emphasis on people skills also in the curriculum. So here you go. We have a 4-year Bachelor of Design honors. It's a full-time course. It's fully residential. Okay, that's a Pilani rule. So even at Powai Hiranandani complex, where our students will be for the first year, there is a hostel for everybody, food available for everybody, 4 meals a day. Even if you live in Powai, you can't go home to your parents except for Friday, and I can see Deepu smiling. But I think, but Pilani is very clear about that, because education is not about 9 to 4 or 9 to 2. There are activities, hackathons, things to be done at night, collaborative projects to be done, sudden spring assignments, swarms that are done between the different groups of students. So fully residential, and the Bachelor of Design honors from Bits Pilani. The first year is in Powai, and the second year is in Kalyan. The Powai campus in Hiranandani Knowledge Park has been there now for 3 years. We're breaking it up a little bit. So if anybody is coming to see, please call the number on the website, and you are most welcome to come, and also dirty your feet a little bit, because you see, we need to have different kinds of rooms and different kinds of furniture, because we're a design school. Yeah, so that is the process that's happening right now. And parallelly, the labs, etc., are being made at the Kalyan campus, so that will be ready for us over there as well. So we have 5 streams. Another thing that's really important is students you will choose your pathway for specialization at the end of the third semester. So this gives 3 whole semesters for you to take electives across different pathways, check out what you're good at, work with your mentors, understand what's going to work well for you. And actually, even if you make a mistake in the third semester, when you choose at the end of the third semester or beginning of the fourth semester, there will be space for course correction in the fourth semester also. So don't worry about that. Deep industry integration, I talked about that. Live industry projects, plus BITS alumni coming in, giving projects, giving talks, internships, etc. There's an opportunity for 3 internships, 2 are industry and 1 is with NGO or the government, and 2 opportunities for international exposure. And once you choose and decide your pathway for sure in the 4th semester, from the 5th semester, an industry mentor will be appointed for each student. That's the list. I think the list that we have is growing every day, but we'll give 1 industry mentor for each student to guide them along the way and to also offer opportunities, networking, etc. We're also giving the individual attention. There's a personal development program with credits, and I'll touch on that. And then, of course, placements. We have the BITS placement team. I touched on that already. And students will be trained for jobs, entrepreneurship, or for further studies. Yeah. So here are the 5 streams that we have. 1 is physical product. So everybody is going to be a designer. And everybody is going to know about all streams of design or understand all streams of design. But you get the opportunity to specialize in physical products, digital products, and I'll touch on what they may be, human-centered design, experience design, and visual design. You don't have to decide anything now. There will be plenty of people to guide you, plenty of faculty, mentors, etc., to guide you to make those decisions as you go along. Okay. So here's physical. I think everybody knows physical product design. So accessories, furniture, lighting, consumer electronics. In that, we also want you to have an understanding of aesthetics, understanding of branding, understanding of the production process, so you can test those physical mock-ups as you go along. Physical product designers become industrial designers, furniture designers, product. So an industrial designer, somebody who makes something that can be mass produced. Whereas a product designer, someone who may look at smaller objects, accessories, things for the table, phones, etc. You can become a packaging designer. You can just be somebody who makes prototypes. You can also be somebody who's an expert at making CADs, that like this nice diagram that there is on the right-hand side here, because that is also something that is important. I think most people understand physical product design. The next is digital product. Sorry, I'm going back to physical. A lot of physical products today have technology in them, but we're still calling that physical product design because technology is something like, I don't know, like your Fitbits, like your washing machines, like your headphones. They all have technology in them, but you're actually making something. All right. You could say that the Aadhaar card is a physical product, which can be designed as is. But the back end of the Aadhaar card is a digital product because it's working across so many different systems, so many different places, getting data, putting information. That also needs to get designed. So we come to digital product designs. So digital product designs are those which are purely digital. Is that fine? You can be a UX designer, you can be a UI designer. You can not design UX or UI, but have an overall concept of what the interaction is between the human and the computer, and be an interaction designer and give your plans and strategies to the UX designer or UI designer to create. Or you can be a mobile app designer. What we want to say here is that designers can actually design the concept of the mobile app, not just have to make the UX and UI. So right from the start, technology inputs, strategy inputs, market understanding, so that designers can also conceptualize that, okay, this would be a great digital product to bring into the market. You can also be a design researcher. There's a lot of analysis of data and design and research that happens in this. You may see some overlappings as we go along, but that again helps this transdisciplinarity as it is. The third vertical is called human-centered design. And you may ask, why is human-centered design a separate pathway? Because those of you who've studied design or are interested in design, you know that all design is human-centered. So even if you make a physical product, it must be human-centered. But the world has shifted, and we're seeing that a lot of companies who don't make any materials or any products are now using the design process to solve problems. You may have heard of design thinking. That's one way of looking at it. So a human-centered designer will understand the needs of the human, the values, the motivations. And there are a lot of companies, including a lot of consulting companies like Ernst & Young, KPMG, they all have design groups that are working on understanding what is it that can solve problems. How is it that the design process can be used to solve problems, to reframe issues? These people tend to work with a lot of other people. As a human-centered designer, you will work along with a doctor, you may work along with somebody who's designing a railway station, you may work with, I think health is something that's quite big in this business growth, things like that is what you will do. So one of the big things is design researcher. It's in fact, I think one of the most upcoming areas that there is right now. The other is service design and systems design, because we know, like even banks and the government, like we talked about the Aadhaar card, everybody is looking at how do we create or can we design a system that's going to work better? Can we design a system where there are less complaints? Can we design a system that will make people buy quicker and not go away from the website? What can we do? I know somebody who's a human-centered designer and works for Accenture, and her team is working on how to reduce traffic accidents in Florida. Okay, so I think the world has understood the importance of the design process, and designers are being welcomed into various different industries to give their inputs and to collaborate with people from these industries. So that's quite an interesting area. Again, you don't have to decide right now. There'll be enough of exposure to different people from different verticals for you to make an informed decision. And then there's experience design. I think this you need to listen to carefully, because when we're talking experience design, we're not talking UX. There may be UX in it, but experience is something more than that. Experience is about how humans or life engage with the environment around us, how we interact with the environment around us. An experience designer will design an experience, like could be a museum, could be a very large event, could be the entire pre-wedding that we saw with great interest over the last week or so, because it's not just one event, it's the entire show that people need to design. Okay, so again, hospitality. I was talking to somebody recently, and they're working, Philips actually is working on how to make an ICU a more comfortable and comforting place for somebody who's just come out of a very big surgery. I was talking with somebody at RMIT, and they're working with a hospital to say, how do you work with the experience of those patients who are at the end of their life? What can you do in terms of conversations, in terms of digital input, in terms of environment, in terms of the people that they meet. How can you work with them to create a better end of life, maybe, experience? So experience design, I think, is huge. I put down some words here about careers. You can be an experience architect. It has to do with space. It does. It's not about just the website. You can be somebody that works with emotions. That's really big. That how do you impact the emotion of the human being who's going through that experience? Hotels, luxury tours, hospitals I talked about before. You can be a storyteller or a narrative designer, an event designer, somebody who uses AR, VR experience. And this goes on and on. So this is also a very interesting, a lot of people were asking about why are we not doing interior design? So this is not interior design. It's design of the experience while you are in the interior. And maybe in some cases in the interior and exterior also, because now life is, we just move so easily from screen to office to home. In fact, all of them are the same sometimes. So how do we work on creating experiences? And the last one is visual design. I think this one everybody possibly understands, designing visual identities, fonts, graphics, web, etc. But even in this, we would like to look more at strategy, to look at the impact of visual design as we go along. So here is just one way that we've looked at it. We've tried to look at each of the pathways and mapped the different areas of expertise. And through that, we can see really that how as a student, you can choose your electives. So if you want to be a physical product designer, you must understand a lot about emergent technology. You must understand about creative production. But a human-centered designer must can understand about emergent technology, but maybe not as much. And maybe not so much about production because they're not working with products. They're working with the post-material space. So this is also a way that we've tried to look at, and we've mapped our modules also in this to help students to make their selection, make their selection of their subjects to fit modules to fit into their specialization. And here's the curriculum. Some of you would have seen it on the website. I love it. It's really strong. It's got amazing reviews from the industry, from academics. People have seen it on the website and come back and said that it's really forward-looking. And I have to again put my hats off to the advisory board and a very special curriculum committee that we had, who've sat and worked on it. So student will go from the first year where you can experiment. There are also electives in the first year, but you can experiment and do anything that you want to do so that you're trying to figure out who you are as a designer. The second year is about exploring. You choose your electives, but you could drop it and choose something else because this is when you're trying to decide what it is that you want to do. By the time you're in your third year, you've embraced wholeheartedly the specialization that you've taken, and whatever projects you do will be in that specialization. And I'm going to show you that. And the fourth year is about now you've learned something. How do you expand your horizons, look at yourself as a designer ready to go into the industry and learn new technology, new things that are going to help you have a greater impact or influence. I'm just going to take you to the website for a moment because students, I want you to spend time on the website and see the subjects that there are, etc. So I'm going to the website. Sorry. Yeah. Here we are. I'll just maybe look at year 1 and year 3. So if we go into year 1, what we say are fundamental courses are courses that everybody has to take. Specialization is electives. Transversal courses are things that go across everything. And tools and skills are, in this case, for everybody to take. And every year has professional development. There are credits for that. At the beginning of the year and at the end of the year, there is a discussion with the mentor, mapping where you are, where you want to be, what else you want to learn, and then you come back to that at the end of the year. And there are also specific classes for some parts of professional development, like project management, collaboration, etc. I'm going to now go to the third year, maybe so you'll get an idea. So in the third year, you've already selected what your pathway is because you're in semester 5 and semester 6. But still, there are courses that everybody takes. One is, of course, the live industry project, and this is a compulsorily cross-disciplinary. So it'll be a project where students from all pathways have to work with each other. Okay. But even suppose the subject is social and public design, you can have students from physical products will work in social and public design. Students from human-centered design will do this module. Humans from experience design will work. And therefore, there's a lot more space for collaboration. And of course, AI, again, everybody will immerse themselves in that. This is an interesting module called Collaborative International Project because it allows, at this stage, there is a project between the BITS Design School in Mumbai and one of our partner universities. And we'll talk about that also as we go along. Yeah, I'm going to go back to my presentation. Okay. So here are some of our partners. There are more that are hidden there, but we've tried to be very, very selective in identifying people who are like us, in identifying people that we want to have a long-term relationship with. The first is Aalto University. Very proud to say Aalto University is number 6 in art and design global rankings. Aalto University is in Finland. And as you know, Finland and the entire Nordic region is very special for design because they live design. I mean, I think as a young person itself, they work with design, they understand design. What we're doing with Aalto University is, of course, we have student exchanges, we have faculty exchanges, and something that's really important is like a curriculum review. They've already had one look at our curriculum, but every year they will make strategic presentations to us on what are the directions, what are the changes that are happening in curriculums and the design industry around the world. Then we have the option of making those changes or making those additions to our curriculum and giving it back to them for a review. The reason we have this is we always want to have like a mirror or somebody who has the experience and maybe better and stronger so that we have a partner that will lead us also into the future. The second is RMIT. RMIT in Melbourne, RMIT and Bits Pilani have a relationship for many years. So when RMIT heard that Bits Pilani is opening design school, they immediately reached out and said, what can we do? So right now, what we've done is we have opportunities for student exchange. We'll have their faculty coming. In fact, they're coming in April. So their faculty will come to teach. And they would like to work on a dual degree program, but that's still being worked on, so it's not announced yet. If that when that comes through, or if that comes through, we will put it up on the website. And the third university here is Stanford. Stanford is the home of the D School. If you haven't looked it up, please, everybody, just look up D School. It's probably the world's most progressive, energized, forward-looking, exciting design school that there is. And I think I mentioned that we're starting off with the faculty development program. They want to do something with the industry and us also, but all that will happen soon. So how do you get into the BITS Design School? Pass your 12th standard. I'm sure everybody's passed your 12th standard. And then do at least one of these tests, that is NID and UCEED. You might have done it. If you've done it, you'll be asked to submit your scores. If you haven't done it, or if there was some problem, then there's a BITS design aptitude test called the BITS DAT, which will be available, I think, in the first week of April. Be in touch with our counselors. All details are there on the website and maybe on the last slide of this presentation also, and you can understand it and get more details there. Applications opened already. Last day to apply is on the 30th. We will have interviews with portfolios from the 14th to the 28th of April. We had announced that we would come to a few cities in India and the rest would be online. We've changed our mind about that. We've had a discussion with Bits Pilani, and I think in order to ensure that there is fairness amongst all candidates and everybody gets an equal opportunity, all interviews will be online. This will allow, like I said, for more standardization, and those who come face to face otherwise might have got a better chance at impressing the interviewers. So you'll be asked to upload your portfolio in advance. The portfolios will be marked in advance, but during the interview, if the student is not able to defend or do something to show that this is their work and why they've done the work, the portfolio marks may be changed. Yeah. Fee, I think, which says as per offer letter, because there will be the opportunity then to apply for scholarships. And I think there's another slide about scholarships, but it's very clear, and our Chancellor, Mr. Birla, has made it very clear that we want a really good set of students, and no student should miss this opportunity because he can't afford the fees. No good student should miss this opportunity, and classes start on August 1st. So here's how the scoring is. Exam is 30%, the uploaded portfolio is 30%, and the interview is 40%. What we will look for in the interview, apart from the portfolio, is a student who's intentional about a career in design, because a lot of energy has gone into creating this. A lot of people are going to be spending a lot of energy on the students. Every student is important. So we want students who want to make a career in design, not just those who want to do a bachelor's, because that's what everybody does. We want students who are curious, creative, and have a sense of aesthetics, have an aptitude for design and problem solving. And also we will be looking at communication, verbally, written, and using other media. I don't think it's important that you have to be good at English, but in whichever language you speak in, you should be able to communicate your thoughts and ideas. Scholarships, we talked about 3 kinds of scholarships: merit cum means, merit, and diversity scholarships. This is for underrepresented people from states. The details are on the website, and education loans from leading banks, as we have in Bits Pilani, will be there also. Here's the Kalyan campus. So this building on the bottom left-hand side, that's the hostel where the management students are right now. And you can see that there is some construction going on next to it. Libraries are amazing. The spaces for labs are great. Maker spaces. Hostels are fun. 24 hours. It's written mess. 24 hours, everything. I think that's something that is quite special. We have a video here. Deepu, I'm going to play it. Will you tell me if you can hear? Can you hear?
Yeah. And this is not graphical, this is original footage.
Yeah. So this is just before the inauguration on the 24th. You can see in some places that there is still construction that is good. The pictures on the website are from the campus itself, so you recognize some of them.
Even this new campus is designed by the famous designer Hafiz Pandra.
This campus will house Bits School of Management, Bits Law School, and the Bits Business School. Like I said, the management students are already there. They're quite happy. So I'm sorry, I'm just going to stop there for a minute because this is the center building, which is the center of excellence. And the design labs are on the ground floor on both sides. And the media labs and AR, VR labs, etc. and the lower ground floor, which is actually the ground floor if you look at it from the back side. And the first floor is the incubation center, where also a lot of work in design will happen. Okay. That's amazing, but I think it's even more amazing. It will be even more amazing when it's full of students on campus. Yeah, this is the current hostel. Deepu, this is the current hostel. So the students from School of Management and School of Law have already been staying in a set of apartments. This is an image from that apartment. Two people share an apartment for undergraduates. The postgraduates get a room each. All food is served, or 4 meals is served on campus. And the hostel is what, a kilometer away, or how far away, Deepu, from the Hiranandani campus?
It is just few meters away. It's a walking distance, but we have air-conditioned, chauffeur-driven buses to escort students. So that's not a problem, but it's walking distance. So people like me, we are also living in the same apartment. So Hiranandani apartment called as Regent Hill, where for 1 year we are stationing the students here. It's a furnished apartment, fully furnished for the students, including in-house refrigeration and many other white goods, as they say. Yeah.
Okay, super. Thank you. Maybe take a screenshot of this. Your email ID is important if you want to speak to somebody. The telephone number is also important. There has been a lot of anxiety about the portfolio and the interview. There is a webinar that is planned. Deepu, can you remind me of the date, or someone remind me? It's on the website. That will take you through how to prepare for the interview. You don't have to be a designer. Remember, you're coming to a design school to become a designer. But what is it? How should you position yourself? How do you identify maybe what are your key strengths, and then use them for your benefit in the interview? I'm going to stop there.
And now we have a lot of questions, which I am 100% sure you have to answer. So let me give you a bit of a rest. I'll answer those questions which I can, because you have been speaking for the past 1 hour. Okay, so there is this one question which I can answer. It says, with June 2025 is when we will be moving to the permanent campus. How will the design facilities like design lines be provided for the first year? Okay, so hear me clear. The campus at which BITS Design shall be working is called as an interim campus, and it was an interim campus for both BITS SOM as well as BITS Law, which is our School of Management and School of Law. And any parent who visited this interim campus was not ready to believe that these are interim campus. So that's the way they have been built, and that's the kind of facilities we were able to provide for the students. Similarly, we are going to do the same with BITS Design also. And later on, we'll be shifting these facilities to the new campus also. Though there are facilities in the new campus at Kalyan where we are still building, state-of-art things which need not be used in the first year for the students of design. So, we have some days on which we take students to the Kalyan campus. I would be more than happy to host some of you, because if you come and see those facilities, you'll understand the kind of investment, I'll say investment, that someone who has a drive for education can do for education. And that's massive, the way. So there is no compromise on those facilities. And even in the campus at HKP, which we have, there's no compromise on any of the student facilities. Like Nandita was saying, this is a very student-centric campus, and I affirm and I repeat, yes, it is. Right now, there were some other questions which we received on the chat also, where students were asking me questions like, if my kid is an NRI, does she have to give the same exam? Okay, let me be very clear. In the system of BITS, there is nothing called as NRI. There's nothing called as Indian. If you are a scholar, if you are meritorious, you are welcome. So we do not even charge specific fees also from NRIs. Dollar fees, blah blah blah.
There's
Nothing.
no
It's the
reservation
yes.
for any category.
Yes, it's the
Everyone is
same
covered.
for everyone. If you're a scholar, if you have those butterflies in your stomach to prove yourself to the world, that's the kind of students we want. That's the kind of scholars we require who are ready to come up. So you need to prove yourself in our admission process to get admission. We're not inviting just anyone to come and apply. You have to go through that rigorous process. So that's why in School of Management as well as School of Law, there's a lot of time which we take for selection process, and that same will be repeated even for the design school. The reason is very simple. We believe that it's the gravity which takes place between a student and a teacher inside the campus is what creates campuses. Okay, so we will move on from here. And there is one question which I want to ask, I want Nandita to answer, and which is where some students are comparing us with the NID and the IIT design courses. That how can we be better, or what is the comparison, or how are we similar also?
I was on mute. Sorry. I think that's a really good question. And like I said, I think earlier, there is a right design school for everybody. So please study what you're going to learn at IIT. Please study what you're going to learn at NID. Outcomes are great. Our outcomes are just a little different, meaning our outcomes are more multidisciplinary. You get to study a very broad range of subjects for 2 years before you decide what it is that you want to do. You can take electives along the way. Our outcomes include also understanding management and a deeper input into technology, like there is, because of Bits Pilani and Bitsom. So I think that these are all amazing colleges.
So
Just
again,
see which is the one that
comparisons are inevitable as humans, and specifically as Indians, we do compare, right? That which one is better. But believe me, like Nandita believes, and that is one of our answers which is very close to my heart, that each student has a place, and they need to discover themselves and explore themselves. So every institution is doing good. We also will be another institution which will try to compete and also be better, right? So there are questions on placements and faculty in comparison with NID and IIT also.
Again, I think I have the same answer. Placements, I don't think one should worry about. But I also feel quite strongly that it is also the responsibility of the student. You have to know, you have to make the most of everything that is available to you. As you've seen in the videos, as you've seen on the website, everything is available to you. All the deans of engineering from all the campuses are ready to participate. All the management faculty ready to participate. Our chancellor is very interested and every week wants to know what's happening, who are the faculty. The faculty, like I said, have been selected not because they're a big specialist in agro design, but because they're agile, forward-looking, able to adapt, very interested in young people, very interested in teaching. I think, like we said, that this is a student-centric organization. So those are the kind of faculty. I don't want to compare. We've interviewed people. I think I must have interviewed over 150 different faculty, and we selected the ones that we think are the best suited to the BITS philosophy.
Great. And there is Mr. Harshal Joshi. His question is, so what is visual design and how different is it from digital product design?
Right. So visual design is different. There may be some overlapping with digital product design. A digital product is a mobile app, a website, a digital system in a bank that works. Like I said, the back end of something like Aadhaar card. A digital product can also be UI, UX. It can be interaction. Visual design focuses on the visual part of it because human beings experience things also visually. So it will include a little more art. It will include more communication. How do you communicate through visuals? It could be data interpretation also visually. You have animation, you have AR, VR. It can be experience design also. Like I said, and it can be also UX or UI, because even in UI, you have to choose colors, choose fonts, make decisions. But a visual designer is not going to create an app. A visual designer is not going to look at the data that's working in the back end of the app and make a decision as to how the process should be changed. A visual designer will create an amazing visual experience also through advertising, graphics, etc. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, let's hope. Muskan Agrawal is asking, the degree which we will get will be of Bits Pilani or affiliates with any other institute? I think she's asking. Yeah, Muskan, Bits Pilani is our university, so obviously you will be a student of Institution of Eminence, and this is one of the schools under Bits Pilani. I hope that's one answer that I could give. Okay, Arvind Ghai is asking, and this is one question which we should take for all others also to hear, that which BDES course fee is highest among all existing established institutes, and why is that so?
So, should I?
Yeah, please. I'll add to it.
Yeah. All right. I think very clearly what you should look at is the value that you're going to get. Being a part of an amazing ecosystem and environment. A lot of energy has gone into faculty, infrastructure, curriculum, outcomes, and this is continuously happening. If you look at the value that you're going to get, it's definitely worth the fees.
And moreover, you go abroad, you invest money, wherever you go, you have to see if your investment is worth it or not. And one thing which I have seen, from even when the time when I was a undergrad student, that BITS Pilani has a name. You go to institutions like Stanford, Harvard, Oxford, people do know it because that's the amount of academic aura that they have created globally. So it's not that we are charging you for it, but you have to understand, to have global faculties, the kind of infrastructure that we have to maintain, the kind of facilities that we have to provide. These all do not come for free. So there is, and moreover, you have to also appreciate the fact that though we are expensive on the expensive side, but I'll give you an example of law school. Out of 120 students we have in the first batch, 68 students are on scholarships. So we are also giving scholarship to the deserving students. That's why there is no application cost for our application. So you go fill the application. We see that you are deserving. We interview you. We see your scores. And if you are good, we give you a scholarship. You're getting it? So that's the logic of establishing an institution like BITS Pilani. So the same thing applies here also.
Super.
Right?
I just want to add to that, Deepu. And for me, this is a very new experience. But every day, nearly every day, I have an international partner sending me a message on LinkedIn asking whether we would like to collaborate. And sometimes I'm very tempted because it's amazing to just get a lot of collaborations and have a website full of logos. But I think a very clear decision was made with the advisory board that let's just focus on the best. And I think, yeah, so that's the intention. Just think of what you're going to get out of it.
So there is one question, Nandita, where Nivitri Shri is asking, how can I communicate with the faculty regarding the doubts if we have any query in future?
Are you talking about, if you're talking about during the admission process, yes, you can ask questions to the counselors. Again, the number and email ID is available. We're going to have a webinar to talk about what the next steps are. The webinar is Sunday, March 24th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And there we will answer more questions. We may bring in a couple of faculty also at that time. And yeah, or you can just write into the counselors, or you could maybe ask that you want to come on campus and meet somebody. That's totally up to you.
It's very simple. If you have any admission related query, the team is there. You know, a very competent team of people are behind this entire show, which is happening right now. They have already answered around 298 and counting questions, you know. So that competent team is going to answer to any of your question relating to selection, admission process. If you have anything relating to academics and all, you can book an appointment and come down to the campus and have a discussion also. Okay. So I hope that also is
I think
understood.
you're also booking, aren't you booking some Zoom calls also?
Yeah,
On
we
the
also
website?
have, that's for admissions. If you go to our website, if you have any doubts, we also have the scope of video counseling. So our counselors are also answering your question on a video call, you know, on Zoom calls. So that is also something which we are doing. Yeah. So there is a question by Jain Sikka who's asking, what is the scope of for someone interested in automobile design in BITS?
All right. So, Jen, automobile design is a product design. But what I want to say here is if there is somebody who's only interested in drawing and making cars, there may be other places also. Because we're going to look at automobile design also from the viewpoint of new energy, of businesses, like what do companies do now? Because like even Volvo, etc., what do they do? Because energy that they're using is not good for the environment. So how can one design automobiles that work with tomorrow? What kind of strategies can you have around that, etc. So if you're interested in automobile design from a wider point of view, and you want to look at how automobiles can progress and you can design those automobiles, then Bits Pilani or the Bits Design School is the right place.
Great. Now there is another question which comes according to one's merit. Can she transferred to a foreign college affiliate?
Yeah, so right now, we haven't signed any progression agreements. Like you've seen, the curriculum has just come into place. We're having discussions with our partners, but as of now, I have nothing to announce. You can always apply to an international college for a transfer. That is there from any college. But are we creating specific pathways? We may be able to answer that more clearly in May.
Now there's one question by Vishmita. She's asking, what are the pros and cons of being the inaugural batch of BITS Design?
Um, I think it's a huge pro. We've had conversations with other universities, and there's a very interesting engineering university in the US called Olin University. I had a call with their vice chancellor, and he talked about how the first batch of design students can actually construct the culture, work with the curriculum, increase the amount of industry interface that there is, plan the clubs, plan the events, etc. So I think it's a huge advantage being the first batch. Also, the first batch everybody has their eyes on them. So no, there'll be no shortcuts. I guess at BITS there should be no shortcuts ever. I think it's a really interesting, exciting batch to be a part of. The founding batch of the BITS Design School, and nobody can take that away from me.
There's a question: is BITS 0% attendance policy also implemented here? Hope not. So Bits Pilani has a 0% attendance policy where the classes are so interested that the students come and attend the classes. So the question by Neha is, will that be implemented here also? That's a dean's call.
So yeah, so I think we need to discuss that further. This is the first time I've had that question. I also believe that if we get the right set of 120 students, then learning will be continuous. It can be in the classroom. I think we're going to make a lot of changes because we'll have classes outside, we'll have classes in a village close by, in the industrial area. Learning will happen everywhere, need not always be in the classroom.
Great. So we have almost covered all the questions. With one question where a person, Ameya is asking from Shahad, do you have bus facilities? If you're asking for shuttle, yes, whenever we start with, as in already we have started with our School of Management at our new campus, and there is shuttle facility which is available to the students. Don't worry.
And where does it go to Deepu, to the railways, to the train station?
Yeah,
or
to the nearest,
to the city
yeah,
also?
to the
Yeah.
nearest, city, and they also take students to the nearest local station. And whenever there are holidays, there are also plans to take the students to the airport as well.
So I think that's an advantage of saying that there'll be one full year of working the campus before we move in there.
So how about sports line in the campus? Yeah, if you see our a 3D rendition on YouTube, there is a video which talks about how the campus is going to look in 2025. You can see the sports facilities there. We have state of art, and every sport is covered in the same.
You see this video, you can see there's some like brown ground behind the buildings. That's where there are indoor facilities and outdoor facilities that are getting built for sports. That again is part of the BITS Pilani policy.
Great. I think we have covered almost every question. There is one question that is remaining. What is the difference between human-centric design and experience design?
Super. I think I tried to answer that, but maybe what we've created a document that we will share with the counselors so they can share it with you. Human-centered design is non-material usually, and it's about studying the human being, the environment around the human being. So there's a lot of design research that's involved in that. There's a lot of problem solving. There's a lot of studying the human being as a consumer. So how can you understand the consumer and therefore make your business grow? I'm going to try to think of an example. Okay, so I gave one example about the somebody at Accenture who's studying traffic problems in Florida. Another example can be about a project that actually is being done by Fractal AI, where Biju, one of our advisory board members, is from or leads. That project is for South Africa, and they are trying to see that how do they make people more active. So the entire government is trying to identify why are people not active and what are the nudges that they can put in their TV shows, in their newspapers, in the apps that they use, in the government websites, so that people are encouraged to maybe get up and go and do something.
Great. So
project, yeah.
So we've almost covered almost everything. The questions regarding cutoff and everything else. If you see the chat room, there is a number and there is an email ID which is shared with you. It's 022 685 19200. or else 70262000300. These are the numbers which is already put on the webinar chat. Please call these numbers for any webinar, any admission related query. These will be attended to, and this will be something which is your go-to numbers. And there is just not one person who's attending. There are multiple counselors who will be there for you, and they will make sure that your queries are attended to. In case if you do not get us through, there is also an email ID there which is given in the chat. If you see admissions@bitsdesign.edu.in, you can even email to us also. Okay, so all the admission related queries, please send it to us on these numbers and the email IDs. Fair enough. So I think we are at the end of the session. Thanks to each one of you. We had a great head count in this webinar, and that shows the interest of people and the students and the aspirants, the design aspirants. And I'm overwhelmed by the response which we are getting, where the students are also coming to the campus. They want to know more and more. This is such a great reception for an institution called as Bits Pilani. I thank our Dean Nandita for sparing her time and also making sure that she's able to explain from A to Z about our course at Bits Design and also about our institution, the design school which is coming up and which is going to be the best in India. I'm 100% sure. Not just in India, we're going to be there up globally. And thanks to the team which is behind it, the admission team which was working behind it, thanks to a marketing team who have made sure that the news about this webinar reaches the nook and corner of this country. And I could see there are students from pan India who have attended this. People as far as from Guwahati, people as far as from Goa, from Trichy, Jammu. These are the people who have attended. Thanks to each one of you for investing this Sunday with us. All the best for the remaining exams, and stay in touch with us for any of your queries. And I've already shared the number. Take a screenshot of this numbers and get in touch with us. Any parting words by you, Nandita?
Thank you, Deepu. And yes, thank you, everybody. I think it's a very important stage for design in India. The opportunity to bring together engineering, technology, management, and design, and create those designers who are not going to just be told what to do, but those designers who can participate in decision making and participate with those people who decide what is going to do. So, thank you. It's been a really great welcome from the entire design industry. And I think together we will all create design for tomorrow in India.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and a happy Sunday. The remaining the remaining time for each one of you, and stay in touch. Bye.